Hello, and welcome back to the Diogenes podcast. Chew on this. Joan Didion, in her masterful 1968 essay collection, Slouching Towards Bethlehem, warned against the sinister hysteria of fashionable madmen who have never been in short supply, but have never had such a long reach into the lives of so many so desperate to be told what to think, say, and do. So many so viciously determined to be seen as good and righteous and true. So many so willing to silence and dispose of those whose views and values they oppose. The third assassination attempt on President Trump by Cole Thomas Allen on Saturday, April 25th, is just such an example of a spiritually famished man-child, a radicalized acolyte of the woke left, acting on the 2 minutes hate intoned daily by mainstream media against Trump and against the views, values, and the very lives of people who support or are just arbitrarily associated with whatever Trump is presumed to represent. The language in Allen's manifesto, really a childifesto, is a regurgitation of the grotesque rhetoric used by partisan news outlets to demonize Donald Trump and incite violence against him, his cabinet, and his base. Allen refers to Trump as a pedophile, a rapist, and a traitor, justifying any collateral damage to other hapless attendees of the White House Correspondents' Association dinner as perhaps regrettable but necessary, since their presence signals complicity in Trump's satanic crimes, as well as violating etiquette by chomping salad and drinking champagne during Allen's self-styled Cold Force-friendly federal assassin democracy rescue mission. He refers to unlawful detention camps, executions of innocents without due process, and children being blown up in schools, starved, or sexually assaulted by criminal members of the Trump administration. This ideological buffet appears to include references to the January 6th Capitol riot, Trump's supposed sex crimes, Jeffrey Epstein, ICE operations, and Gaza. Wow. With this much on his plate, one wonders how Cole Thomas Allen could remain so hungry for a sense of meaning and purpose. He expresses incredulity that he could walk into the Washington Hilton armed to the teeth and, quote, "Not a single person there considers the possibility that I could be a threat," end quote. Well, there's the tell. Cole Thomas Allen is a basement boy, a narcissist who needs to feel useful and important, and who attempted to man up, bolstered by the boilerplate hate and hysterical whining of left-wing propagandists, TikTok midwits, and the little boss chicks for whom the blue sky is always falling. Hit deep in the feels by the narrative of Trump and company as apocalyptic fascists, Allen says of his mission, quote, "It's awful. I want to throw up. I want to cry for all the things I wanted to do and never will, and for all the people whose trust this betrays," end quote. Kinda wussy for a would-be martyr. But in the end, he soldiered on, compelled by a totalizing emotion. Quote, "I experience rage thinking about everything this administration has done," end quote. So, despite paying lip service to the importance of maintaining the rule of law over the subversive will of any one person or group, he just needed to up and kill his political opponents. Totalizing, as in totalitarianism, which, Hannah Arendt observed, isn't content to rule solely through external displays of power and violence, but through well-contrived and frequently repeated compelling phrases, a soft coercion that dominates and terrorizes us from within. And when journalists, educators, and entertainers have become public relations employees for the woke left Ministry of Truth, rage, betrayal, and moral authoritarianism is what we get. Absurdities can lead to atrocities, it has been said, and Joan Didion herself observed that lies and half-truths repeated authenticate themselves in people's minds, often to devastating effect. Didion's conclusion to her essay on morality is staggeringly apt for this third attempted murder of a U.S. president lawfully elected by a majority of American voters, and for the ongoing campaign of wanton violence by the woke left against their political opponents and the foundational principles of American democracy. Didion wrote, quote, You see, I want to be quite obstinate about insisting that we have no way of knowing, beyond that fundamental loyalty to the social code, what is right and what is wrong, what is good and what is evil. I dwell so upon this because the most disturbing aspect of morality seems to me to be the frequency with which the word now appears, in the press, on television, in the most perfunctory kinds of conversation. Questions of straightforward power or survival politics, questions of quite indifferent public policy, questions of almost anything, they are all assigned these factitious moral burdens. There is something facile going on, some self-indulgence at work. Of course, we would all like to believe in something, like to assuage our private guilts in public causes, like to lose our tiresome selves, like, perhaps, to transform the white flag of defeat at home into the brave white banner of battle away from home. And of course, it is all right to do that. That is how, immemorially, things have gotten done. But I think it is all right only so long as we do not delude ourselves about what we are doing and why. It is all right only so long as we remember that all the ad hoc committees, all the picket lines, all the brave signatures in the New York Times, all the tools of agitprop straight across the spectrum do not confer upon anyone any ipso facto virtue. It is all right only so long as we recognize that the end may or not be expedient, may or may not be a good idea, but in any case has nothing to do with morality. Because when we start deceiving ourselves into thinking not that we want something or need something, not that it is a pragmatic necessity for us to have it, but that it is a moral imperative that we have it, then is when we join the fashionable madmen, and then is when the thin whine of hysteria is heard in the land, and then is when we are in bad trouble, and I suspect we are already there." End quote. We are. The American left is a death cult. Their nihilism has become normalized as an aesthetic spectacle, and for them the show must go on. The question for the rest of us is, what do we who value life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness do in the face of those who value death more than their countrymen? I think Donald Trump already answered this on July 13th, 2024, in Butler, Pennsylvania, immediately after being shot. Fight, fight, fight. Remember, if you enjoy the content on the Diogenes podcast, please like and subscribe and tell your friends to join the pack, and share your comments, but do so respectfully. I'm Chris. Thanks for joining me.